Hey guys, today let's talk about blockchain technology and how it works. According to the common man definition, a blockchain technology works as a group of decentralized ledger that record transactions across many networks or across a group of networks. For those of us that are familiar with accounting, in accounting, a ledger is a book where all transactions are recorded, even down to who paid whom, when, where, and even why. A digital ledger does the same thing, but designed to be more secured and transparent, and blockchain happens to be a digital ledger. In this video, we'll be quickly looking at how the blockchain network works. The blockchain technology is what verifies crypto transaction. Any crypto transaction taking place anywhere is being verified by the blockchain. For example, when you send Bitcoin or Ethereum or any other cryptocurrency, the blockchain confirms that you have the funds, and then it verifies if the transaction is real or fake, and after the verification it permanently stores the transaction in what is known as blocks. I know this explanation or this definition might sound yiki yaka to you, it might sound confusing. That's why I have this marker right here. I want to simplify the explanation of how the blockchain process works with this marker and a plain board. Okay, so right here now on my plain board, let me quickly explain the blockchain process. Okay, so let's assume this is the blockchain network. Okay, whenever you try to send a cryptocurrency, the blockchain network automatically receives it as a data. Okay, that is your transaction. Whenever you send in a transaction, the blockchain network automatically receives it as a data, and automatically a block will be created by the blockchain network representing the data, which is the transaction you are trying to initiate. Okay, automatically a block will be created. So this is the block that will be created, and once the block is created, the block will need to be confirmed by what is known as a node. A node are more like group of computers that verifies all transaction that happens in the blockchain network, and every node have a copy of the blockchain, meaning that every node has a copy of everything that goes on in the blockchain, be it transaction, both sending or receiving of assets or whatsoever. Every node happens to have a record of it. So a node can be a group of computer in the blockchain network, a group of computer that validates transaction that goes on the network. So whenever the network receives a transaction, it stores it as a data in block format, and then it sends it to the group of node to verify. Okay, then it sends the block automatically to the group of node in the network for verification. That's to confirm if the transaction is legit or fake. Okay, and if a single node rejects the transaction, every other node will reject the transaction. As you can see now, for instance, we have like 4 nodes here. For instance, we have like 5 nodes here. 1 2 3 4 5. Imagine where 5 node is trying to confirm a single transaction. Do you think they will all make mistake? It will not be possible. And if a single node rejects this transaction and claims that this transaction is fake, each and every of these other node will reject the transaction. Automatically, the transaction that the blockchain network sent into the node will not go through. Okay, so as soon as the node now verifies that the transaction is legit, what it does is that it now sends it to another network where verification will be confirmed. Now send it to the next stage where verification will be confirmed, where all of the node will now accept that the transaction or the data sent is legit. Okay, all of the node will now verify that the transaction is legit. So as soon as they verify that the transaction is legit, then the transaction will now be stored in the chain. Okay, if the transaction is approved, the new block is added to the chain permanently. Okay, then the network now stores the transaction permanently. All of the node will now send the data into the network in a block format for permanent storing. So every transaction that goes on in the blockchain network, the nodes have a record of it. Even if it's a transaction that has taken place for the past 10 years, 20 years, the node has a record of it. So you cannot bypass the node when making a transaction in the blockchain network. So it starts by you sending a transaction. For instance, you trying to send Bitcoin to maybe your friend in London or in China. Then this is the blockchain network that will help verify your transaction. Without the blockchain network, your transaction can never go through. Then if the network sends your transaction as data in a block format, the network will automatically create a block for your transaction and send it to the node. The nodes are a group of computers that help validate and verify every transaction that goes on in the blockchain network, and they have a copy of everything going on in the blockchain network, be it sending out of assets, receiving of assets, or anything or whatsoever. Each and every of the node must unify to verify any transaction that comes in. So imagine we have 5 different computers, highly programmed different computers, are trying to verify or validate a single crypto transaction. Do you think there is any way that transaction can bypass if it's a fake transaction? Impossible. So they will need to scrutinize this transaction, just this single transaction being scrutinized by 5 different computers, and after the proper scrutinization, then they will now send it to the next stage for confirmation. Then if they send it to the next stage for confirmation, all of the blocks, all of the nodes, sorry, will now equally unify and agree that, okay, this transaction is legit. Let us permanently store it in the network in a block format. So your transaction will be permanently recorded in a block format. So this is my own layman definition of how the blockchain network works. It is very simple. Do not let anybody complicate things for you. If the blockchain is not existing, cryptocurrency transaction will not exist. So I just want to quickly bring this to your notice, guys, so that you understand that this thing is very simple. In case anybody is trying to, complicate your knowledge as regard how the blockchain network or how the blockchain technology work, it is very simple. It is basically receiving your data, forming it in as a block, sending it to nodes. Then the node will verify if the transaction is a legit one or a fake one. Then once they verify that it's legit, if they verify that it's fake, they'll send it out. That is why you cannot run fake transaction in the crypto ecosystem, because the node will hold you responsible. Okay, if the node verifies and then they confirm, they store it. Simple. If they store it, then the transaction will go through. Let's say you are trying to send Bitcoin to London. So imagine the process it will go through before it reaches its final destination. And it happens in few seconds, very fast. Crypto transaction is very fast. So if you're a crypto user, I believe you understand what I'm trying to explain here. Crypto transaction is very fast. So despite the process of validation, it is still very fast. So that's how it works, guys. If you love what you just watched, kindly subscribe. Until I see you next time, it's your boy Daniel Anthony. I love you, but for now, bye bye and peace.